out of poverty. It's easy. Buy a Red Nose exclusively at Walgreens and start making a difference. It's a good laugh for a good cause, and it all starts at Walgreens, at the corner of happy and healthy.
Closed captioning is provided by...
Healing is something we do together. We put veterans first. Search VA Careers to find out how.
It's the I-95 RV Show in Port St. Lucie. You'll save thousands on a new or used RV. Like this new Roadtrek SS Agile, discounted over $30,000. The I-95 RV Show is going on now at La Mesa RV in Port St. Lucie.
Tonight on The Voice, don't let your favorite go home.
That's the best performance yet.
Tune in and vote live with the Instant Save.
You all know how amazing that was.
The Voice, new tonight at 8/7 Central, here on NBC.
Tonight,
My God.
a manhunt unites 3 shows
He's been at this for 10 years.
for an all-new crossover.
Don't you just hate it when you kidnap a girl and she won't stop kicking the back of your seat?
An all-new crossover starts tonight here on NBC.
The Kentucky Derby on WPTV is sponsored locally by Gulfstream Park.
On the first Saturday in May, beneath the majestic spires of Churchill Downs, a new champion will be crowned. The race for the Triple Crown begins with the Kentucky Derby, only on NBC.
The Kentucky Derby on WPTV is sponsored by Gulfstream Park. South Florida's largest derby party is at Gulfstream Park.
Car accident?
People are talking about Steinger is going green, and here's what they're saying.
Very impressed. An A-plus firm.
I heard that. Very professional. What a fantastic team.
There's more where that came from.
You guys are the best.
A perfect 10.
I would recommend your firm to anyone. I am very happy with the outcome.
That's what I'm talking about.
If you've been injured in a car accident, find out why people are talking about Steinger is going green.
800-561-1111.
It's the I-95 RV Show in Port St. Lucie. You'll save thousands on a new or used RV. Like this used Roadtrek Versatile, discounted to just $343 per month. The I-95 RV Show is going on now at La Mesa RV in Port St. Lucie.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Alex Weichert, and she's from New Jersey. And for obvious reasons, she's my eye candy of the day. Love. Tell us about your look.
Well, I am very ready for spring. I loved the blue paired with the yellow poof skirt. And these shoes were $39 from Just Fab.
Love it.
Everything's under $100.
Fantastic. You look like a Stepford wife in a good way, Alex.
Thanks for the compliment.
Yes, we'll be right back. Here's your Diva Fan.
So, I need to choose for work.
But you want to choose for play.
So I got both.
Because it's Payless BOGO.
Which means buy one.
Get one half off.
I love this wedge.
I know.
We should go back.
We should go back.
We're going back.
Everybody loves to pay less.
Not having a good breakfast can make you feel like your day never started. Get going with protein and 21 vitamins and minerals to help your family be their best. Carnation Breakfast Essentials.
Severe thunderstorms rolled through the area this afternoon. Will we see more this evening? It was a wild day of weather across South Florida. The storms are tapering off, but more on the way for Wednesday, and then a big front rolling in. Your forecast coming up at 4.
Are depression symptoms like loss of interest or sadness interfering with your life? The Janus Center has an option, a clinical research study. No insurance is needed and you may be compensated for time and travel. Call the Janus Center at 561-238-3030.
Sometimes our pets aren't the only ones that make bad choices.
Honey, I'm home.
Now there's Pet Armor Plus. It has the same active ingredients as Frontline Plus, so it's just as effective against fleas and ticks, but costs up to 40% less than vet prices. So you can protect your pets without the shame of overpaying. Pet Armor Plus, available at your local supercenter.
Right now, there is no more challenging and exciting place than healthcare, And right now, you can advance your career in nursing by completing your Bachelor of Science in Nursing degree at South University's College of Nursing and Public Health. Right now, we are accepting those who hear the call to serve, those who have a passion for joining other dedicated healthcare practitioners. Right now, you can find your future in nursing. So call or visit us online right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
You're driving along and then it happens. You get hurt in a car accident.
Rubenstein Law starts working on your accident case the minute you call. Now that's fast.
I'm attorney Robert Rubenstein. Call me. I want to be your attorney.
Call 1-800-FL-LEGAL.
Are depression symptoms like loss of interest or sadness interfering with your life? The Janus Center has an option, a clinical research study. No insurance is needed and you may be compensated for travel. Call the Janus Center at 561-238-3030.
Rosie Perez, always nice to speak with you. Also, my co-host, my studio audience, they've come as, look, they've come here as close as around the, as a matter of fact, these girls they work across the street. Where my therapist? They work across the street, and those girls are from Nigeria. You're invited too. Tomorrow, the lovely Tia Mowry stops by, plus another lucky Wendy watcher is going to try to win big money playing Spring Cha-Ching. Of course, I've got you covered with all the juicy hot topics. I love you for watching today, and I'll see you next time on Wendy. Bye.
Strong and severe storms fired up throughout the afternoon in the area. Will we see more this evening? Storms bubbled up quickly this afternoon. They're beginning to taper off. We are looking at more rain and then a cold front. Your forecast into the weekend coming up at 4.
Healthier gifts mean happier moms. Give a gift card to Massage Envy Spa for wellness mom can use on Mother's Day or whenever she needs it most.
For over 30 years, you've heard our jingle. So what does that mean? Quick and easy checkout with our cash and carry items found throughout the store. And let our team handle those larger purchases and get them right to your vehicle with the convenience of our loading dock. Enjoy everyday low prices on a large selection of electronics, appliances, and more. And don't forget to ask about our BrandSmart 110% low price guarantee. Discover the BrandSmart way today.
Nissan Altima. With up to 270 horsepower, blind spot warning, and premium interior. For a limited time, lease Altima just $189 per month, or choose 0% financing for up to 72 months. Altima, the ride you can always rely on. Shop your local Nissan store and choose Nissan.com. Innovation that excites.
Get your News Channel 5 updates throughout the day on News Radio WJNO.
Heavy rain, strong winds across South Florida this afternoon. Video coming into our newsroom throughout the day, capturing these storms moving right through the area. Right now, it is a Storm Team 5 weather alert day. Let's take a live look from our Live 5 radar. Storm Team 5 meteorologist Steve Weigel and James Whelan, they're teaming up this afternoon. We're going to have you covered for the rest of this afternoon. But it seems like, Steve Weigel, first to you, things are kind of calming down.
Yeah, they came in earlier today, and they're going to taper off earlier. There's still some lingering rain in South County, so from about Boynton Beach down into Boca. And the camera, well, this is not a beach day. You can see lots of clouds and a few showers popping up on the radar. But the big storms were earlier this afternoon. Those fizzled out quickly as they moved off the coastline. And the wider view shows a lot of that rainfall now down around Miami and moving in through Broward County. Big cells, all the way back actually just south of Fort Myers. Here's the last of the rain as it pulls through Boynton, Delray, Highland Beach, and Boca, and it trains all the way back through the west coast. So we could see persistent off and on showers and areas of rain in this spot for, well, into the early evening at least. But the real strong storms and the potential for severe weather is coming to an end quickly as that moves off the coastline. It's not completely done for this week, though. We have more on the way. The front edge of this, the northern edge, cuts across Hypoluxo and into Gateway and Woolbright. And after that, it's a dry air has moved in, so just showers into the evening. Treasure Coast absolutely quiet at this point after some earlier storms. We had a brief tornado warning pop up earlier today. That was between around 1 to 1:30, actually 1:45 to be exact. And that storm, of course, had some gusty winds and some heavy rain. We have more on the way as we get into Wednesday before our front sweeps through the area. And James Wieland has been here along with pretty much the entire storm team. And he's going to tell us a bit about that. James.
Yeah, we're all here. And you see right now, this is pushing on through. So this will be gone. But like you said, this isn't it. Watch right here. We're seeing more fire up just south of New Orleans. And that's what's going to swing through for tomorrow. You can pick it out better on the water vapor. We don't show this that often, but it really enhances what's going on right here south of New Orleans. Again, that will start to swing through and look similar to what we saw out there today. Steve?
So one more day, one more afternoon into Wednesday before we start to see big changes. The weekend, Shannon, looks absolutely gorgeous with sunshine and cooler weather. Believe it or not, we actually have a drop in our temperatures heading into the weekend. And we'll talk more about that coming up.
After today, we certainly deserve it. Steve Weigel, thanks so much. On days like today, though, our Storm Shield app can be a great tool for you. It does have up-to-the-minute alerts when dangerous weather is moving through our area. You can download it at WPTV.com. To the south in West Palm Beach, road flooding has been slowing drivers down this afternoon. The Now's Jacqueline Powell live in downtown to show us just how high the water rose earlier today. We're getting our zoom and our focus in on our camera here. Jacqueline, take it away.
Let's go with 4 or 5 seconds delay.
Well, it's still raining a little bit out here, but not as hard as it was coming down earlier. As we were driving out here on Dixie just a little bit ago, the water was so high it was coming up to about right here on our tires. Now, as you can see, that water has gone down by now, but I want to show you some of the video we shot while driving out here just a couple of hours ago while it was really bad. Again, we were going down Dixie, and from Clematis to Hibiscus, water was above the curb. You can see just how high it was in this video where people are trying to drive through it, but having a hard time. Well, we are staying out here and we'll continue to keep you updated on any kind of flooding that you might need to watch out for in the area. Jacqueline, live in West Palm Beach, Jacqueline Powell, the Now, South Florida.
Jacqueline, thanks. I was down there navigating earlier today. It was a tough go for sure. We appreciate the update there. It was a double dose of rain for a lot of residents on the Treasure Coast, still recovering from last night's very strong storms that moved through. The Now's John Shaman, live in Palm City this afternoon. John, tell us about the damage today.
Shannon, no damage today, just some clouds over my shoulder. That's certainly some good news because it gave residents a chance today to clean up from some of the mess from last night. Now, don't get me wrong, there was still plenty of heavy rain this afternoon that we can show you. Between 1 and 2 o'clock this afternoon, heavy downpours throughout Martin and St. Lucie County. We had that tornado warning for part of the afternoon in the Hobe Sound area. Now, we drove the entire southeast quadrant of Martin County. We didn't see any new damage. Now, we're still getting in a great video and photos from our U reporters of Monday night's storm damage. Yeah, quite a hailstorm that stretched from Okeechobee through Palm City, Stewart, Port Salerno. Golf ball sized hail reported in many locations. Now, one thing a lot of people having to deal with today is getting their cars fixed from their encounters with those hailstones. We'll have that story coming up all new at 6 on News Channel 5. For now, we're live in Palm City. John Shaman for the Now, South Florida.
John, thanks. We want to take you live to Baltimore, Maryland, continuing to follow this still evolving story. Tension still running pretty high in Baltimore. And these are the very streets that we were bringing you live pictures of just yesterday. These have been some peaceful protesters really holding the line between police and a few folks who have come out to try to disturb that peaceful protest. In fact, a few people have been arrested, and police a short time ago were forced to bring out some tear gas. Let me bring you up to speed on what is happening in the city right now. National Guard there on high alert. Several skirmishes, as I mentioned, have continued today between some protesters who have been out there on the streets. This after that flashpoint late yesterday. We were bringing it to you live here on the Now as it was evolving and unfolding. Dozens of streets of Baltimore, Maryland were really just simply trashed. Cars and businesses set on fire. So far, 20 police officers have been injured in the last 24 hours, and several of them have been seriously injured. The city closed its schools today, and as of 10 o'clock tonight, there will be a curfew that will go into effect, and it will go into effect until 5 in the morning. That will run through the rest of the week. Do we have Camden Yards at this point? No Camden Yards. Okay, let me bring you up to speed on what's happening at Camden Yards. Camden Yards, of course, the home to the Baltimore Orioles, and they were supposed to be hosting the White Sox, right? Okay, the Chicago White Sox tonight. That game has been moved until tomorrow, and now we are getting word just coming into us that no fans will be invited to that game. That is the first ever in baseball history, in American baseball, that fans would not be allowed into a pro baseball game. But that is what they're doing. They're going to hold that game. It was postponed from yesterday, now postponed this afternoon once again. It will be pushed to tomorrow now. The game will be played, but fans, Baltimore fans, will not be allowed to attend. That game, though, will be played and carried live, televised, of course, at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Moving on with some other news, we're going to keep our cameras trained there. As we mentioned yesterday, we do have a sister station flying choppers over the scene there, so we'll continue to dovetail into that coverage as needed throughout this newscast. Meantime, other news today, the president condemning the violence, commenting today and condemning the violence in Baltimore from yesterday, saying it really distracts from the very legitimate questions about police conduct in communities of color. This is his words. President Obama says there is no excuse for the destructive, the violence, and that the city really experienced and saw. You can see here in our footage from last night. Listen to what he said.
The violence that happened yesterday distracted from the fact that you had seen multiple days of peaceful protests that were focused on entirely legitimate concerns of these communities in Baltimore.
The president said that he spoke with Baltimore Mayor Stephanie Rawlings Blake and Maryland Governor Larry Hogan on Monday. Attorney General Loretta Lynch, meanwhile, who was just sworn in yesterday, said that the Department of Justice is investigating Gray's death. Using drones to take photos of people on their own property could soon be illegal here in our state. Today, lawmakers sent a bill to Governor Rick Scott that places limits on the use of remote-controlled drones. If Scott signs this bill into law, then drones could not be used to photograph or record images of people on their property from air. These restrictions would also apply to state and local governments, by the way. They can't use them either. This legislation allows people to sue someone who actually photographs or videotapes them with a drone. Coming up here on the Now, protests at the Supreme Court. Justices hearing arguments that could change how marriage is defined across this country. Then, a college professor making waves after he flunked his entire class. The entire class got an F. Now his students say he has it all wrong. Stepping outside, live right now, we're looking from our Live 5 camera network, and dark, gloomy skies moving through really the Palm Beaches and the Treasure Coast today. This is Singer Island and Peanut Island. We're back in a moment.
My name is Amanda, and I smoked while I was pregnant. My baby was born 2 months early and weighed only 3 pounds. This is the view I had of her in the NICU. My tip to you is speak into the opening so your baby can hear you better.
Find 3 ways to quit at tobaccofreeflorida.com. Call, click, or come in.
Not everyone wants to follow the crowd, especially when they have a truck capable of taking them farther. And that's exactly what Ram 1500 can do with the best fuel economy out there. It's this kind of leadership that has more people driving Ram trucks than ever before. Guts, glory, Ram.
Well-qualified current lessees of competitive vehicles get the 2015 Ram 1500 Express Crew Cab 4x2 for $299 a month.
It's Empire Today's biggest sale, the 50-50-50 sale. 50% off carpet and flooring, 50% off padding and materials, and 50% off installation. That's right, half off your entire project. You can save thousands. Empire's 50-50-50 sale won't last long. Don't miss 50% off carpet and flooring, 50% off padding and materials, and 50% off installation.
800-588-2300
Today.
Of all the things that keep you busy, maintaining your car shouldn't be one of them. The experts at Mopar are busy making sure of that. We get the job done right the first time, help you save every time, and get you back on the road in no time. So this spring, let us help refresh your ride. Right now, buy 3 tires and get the 4th for $1 at your neighborhood Mopar Service Center.
When you're living with diabetes, steady is exciting. Only Glucerna has Carb Steady, clinically proven to help minimize blood sugar spikes. Make it part of your daily diabetes plan, so you stay steady ahead.
At City Mattress, we make mattress buying easy. Our sleep consultants will help you select from over 80 mattress comforts at prices 10 to 20% below our competitors. We'll deliver it for free. And should you need, our comfort guarantee assures that you'll sleep comfortably for many nights. 5 decades of leadership has taught us that if we offer the best mattresses at the best prices and treat customers with respect and decency, they'll keep coming back. City Mattress, night after night, we're there for you.
Trending right now, U.S. lowers fluoride in water. Too much is causing splotchy teeth. Now, the government is lowering the recommended amount of fluoride in drinking water because some kids are just getting too much and it's causing little white splotches on their teeth. It's the first change since the government urged cities to add fluoride to water supplies to prevent tooth decay more than 50 years ago. Shannon?
Rachel, thanks. Help from around the world pouring into Nepal today, this after Saturday's disastrous earthquake there. But getting that help and aid delivered, especially to these remote areas, proving really to be an enormous challenge now. The weather isn't cooperating either, and every single moment, every single second really counts, with thousands of people in desperate need right now. The death toll, that is climbing and will likely continue to do so. Right now, the death toll officially stands at more than 4,600. Nearly 10,000 people were injured in the weekend quake. AT&T certainly helping people here at home, here in the United States, reach family and friends who may be in Nepal right now or even live in Nepal following the earthquake. The phone company announced today, in fact, that they will not be charging customers at all for text messages or international long-distance usage from AT&T phones here in the U.S. going to Nepal. This offer will run through May 16th. An historic court case being heard today at the nation's capital. Our Molly Hendrickson is at the Now National Desk. She has more.
Right now, protests continue outside the Supreme Court while the highest court in the country hears arguments on whether same-sex marriage is a constitutional right. 4 states are presenting cases: Michigan, Ohio, Kentucky, and Tennessee. Justices will decide whether the Constitution requires states to issue marriage licenses to same-sex couples and whether states must recognize same-sex marriages performed in other states where it's legal. Today's arguments gave us our first glimpse into where each justice stands on this divisive issue. Several justices asking questions sympathetic to same-sex couples arguing for marriage. Court watchers paying close attention to Justice Anthony Kennedy, whose vote could be the decider. Thousands of same-sex marriages hang in the balance. The final decision is expected in June. Back to you.
Thanks. The Apple Pay mobile wallet just got a boost from Best Buy. Best Buy saying it is now accepting Apple Pay payments for purchases made inside its smartphone app. And later on this year, of course, Apple Pay will be hitting Best Buy brick and mortar stores. Best Buy is a member of the MCX consortium of retailers that had planned to offer an alternative mobile payment system called Currency that is still in development. Well, what a lovely gesture it was. William and Kate today, they sent pastries to their loyal fans who have braved the cold, and they've been camping outside the hospital where their second child is due to be born, well, any minute now. Loyal supporters, decked out in full UK flag regalia, have set up outside the Lindo wing at St. Mary's Hospital in London, where Kate is due to give birth any day now. They've been camping out there for the past 8 days, in fact, and the box of pastries apparently arrived in a box that was wrapped in pink ribbon, leading a lot to speculate, of course, that the royal baby just may be a baby girl. Thanks for the pastries. No tea, though. Imagine being weeks away from graduating only to receive an email that your college professor is flunking you. And not just you, the entire class gets an F. That's what some students are dealing with right now in the state of Texas. Erwin Horowitz says that his students in his business class were disrespectful and that they cheated all semester long. He says students were also spreading untrue rumors about him online. And he says at one point, he even felt the need to have police protection inside the classroom.
This class was unique. I have never failed a class. In fact, it's very rare that I fail students. But in this particular class, you know, sometimes learning incorporates tough love.
Just ridiculous because, I mean, I had never had a problem in the class. I thought I'd done pretty well in the first test, and everything else is going on, and then get the email saying I'm going to get an F in the class, and just kind of, it was overwhelming.
Officials at Texas A&M Galveston saying they respect the professor, but the failing grades, they will not stick. The head of the business partner, in fact, will be taking over the class for the rest of the year. We'll keep you posted on that. A Florida box turtle getting the care she needs after being hit by a car near Tampa. The Wildlife Education and Rehabilitation Center posted these photos on Facebook today. A volunteer veterinarian and her team quickly repaired the turtle's shell. They continue to nurse this turtle back to health. We have reports of traffic lights out at I-95. And, well, okay, they're saying there are no lights on I-95, okay? So the lights aren't out on I-95. Apparently the exit ramp there, I guess the lights are out at the exit ramp at 10th Avenue. So this is the backup that has ensued as a result, Steve Weagle. And I know some of the backup, there's some slick roads out there as well.
That's Lake Worth. And we had reports of power outages in that area about an hour ago.
Okay.
So
I knew you'd help me piece this together.
Yes, and
diagnose
so that's going to cause problems all the way into 95,
right,
as we saw on the traffic cam.
Sure.
All right. Well, it's much quieter than it was earlier today, and it looks like another round headed our way tomorrow. Shannon, we have showers and storms off the coastline now, moving into the Bahamas, and the radar, a completely different story from what it was earlier. Although Miami and Lauderdale getting hit hard with a line of storms that stretches all the way back in toward Marco Island. The little last showers from about West Palm all the way down into Delray and Boca. This is quick moving. It should be done in the next hour. I think quite a few spots will actually see a little sun later today. It's trying to work into the Treasure Coast now, and eventually it'll push into Palm Beach County right around sunset. So we're kind of in a race here to, I think almost everyone, though, will get a little bit of sun before it all said and done. Look at how dry it is now on the Treasure Coast. We had earlier storms there. It was a bumpy ride this afternoon, and I've been working this afternoon with the entire storm team. Tyler Molden is with us in the newsroom with, I believe, some viewer video, right?
Yeah, that is exactly right, Steve. You know, every time we have a storm system come through, we have active weather, we start receiving a lot of photos, we start receiving a lot of videos too. I've posted a lot on my Facebook page, and the one time lapse that I want to show you, it's here. It was sent in to me by Zach Woods. He took this from the north side of Blue Heron Bridge. It's a pretty cool video right here. Well, if I can get it to play, oh, there we go. All right, you can see the storm clouds pushing over, and now it wants to load. And you can see the rain. Well, if we could get it to go, there we go. Storm clouds pushing over. The boat's trying to run back into port as quickly as they can. They are hauling tail. And then that heavy rain starts pushing over, and you can see it's just whiteout conditions. That's how much rain we were dealing with. Really heavy stuff. And hey, by the way, Melbourne, the National Weather Service in Melbourne, they just tweeted this out. Record rainfall at Vero Beach for this date. They picked up a little over 2¼ inches so far today. Steve?
It's been a soaker of a week. One more day left of potentially severe storms Wednesday afternoon, and then we start to quiet down, and it looks like an amazing weekend on the way. And of course, we're going to be talking more about that coming up at 5. Shannon?
We love talking about the weekend around here. Steve? Thanks so much. A programming note to pass along. Because of all that really stormy weather earlier today, Days of Our Lives had to be preempted, again, because of the breaking weather coverage. We had to pop in, and our weather team was hard at work making sure you were staying informed. But unfortunately, something had to go, and so that was Days of Our Lives. It will be re-airing. We will re-air the program at 2 o'clock in the morning, 2:07 to be specific, so you can set your DVR if you're going to be sleeping like the rest of us, and then you can catch it on another day. We do apologize for that, but we want to keep you safe, and that's our top priority. Still ahead here on The Now, you have to see it to believe it. Watch. As a new Rubik's Cube world record was set, you're not going to believe how much time this kid did it this time. All right, how much time he did it in. It's amazing. I couldn't do it if I had all night to figure it out. Anyway, drawing a line in the cement. The new way one South Florida city is trying to get your attention about climate change. This is a fascinating story. Back in a moment.
If you have questions about your injury case or malpractice claim, the consultation is free and you owe us no fees or costs unless we're successful. Gordon and Donner, for the injured.
There are those of us who are called to serve, whose profession is spiritual care. Right now, you may be among them. Right now, you can join us at South University's College of Theology, where right now your calling can take you all the way from a bachelor's to a doctor of ministry in as little as 3 years without obtaining a master's degree, and take you on a lifelong journey of serving and leading. To learn more, call 855-MY-SOUTH or visit us online.
Right now.
Right now. Right now.
Right now.
Hey, big guy. I heard you lost a close one today. Look, Jamie, maybe we weren't the lowest rate this time. But when you show people their Progressive Direct rate and our competitors' rates, you can't win them all. The important part is you help them save.
Thanks, Flo.
Hey, let's go get you an ice cream cone, champ.
The sprinkles?
Sprinkles are for winners.
I understand.
You know how fast you're going? It's a Dodge Challenger. It's a gross misuse of power.
You got passed by a Passat, even with that available 485 horsepower Hemi V8.
Is that chamber music?
Yeah. Get out of the car.
Some things you just don't do in a Dodge. Now during award season. Right now, get up to $3,500 total cash allowance on 2015 Dodge vehicles.
Eyeglass World asks, what do you look for when you buy glasses?
I like to mix it up, so I need bold styles, classic styles, and affordable prices. Having lots of choices and saving money is important. That's why I come to Eyeglass World.
Only Eyeglass World gives you 2 pairs for $78, so you can always afford more than 1 pair.
My glasses are part of my personal style. They're me.
Eyeglass World. Glasses that make the difference. Prices that make it possible.
Good call on these chicken cordon bleu subs.
I know, right? Mixing it up.
We should totally do this for the rest of the things in our lives. Live spontaneously. Wear cowboy hats.
I'm gonna let my hair grow.
Become meteorologists. I mean, let's do this.
Yes! Hang on, I got a 1:30.
So after that?
Yeah. Oh, I gotta pick up the kids. Maybe we just get these subs again tomorrow.
Oh, now you're talking. Take cover, America.
Our Publix Deli Chicken Cordon Bleu Sub is served hot and bursting with unique flavors. And with online easy ordering, you can try something totally different and totally delicious. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Watch the Honda Sports Desk for the latest local and national sports, powered by ESPN 106.3. Every night at 11, only on News Channel 5. Sponsored by the South Florida Honda Dealers. Visit sfhondadealers.com to find the dealer nearest you.
Here on the Now South Florida, a tough trek for one hiker, but his view on the way down was well worth the hike in this case. Our friends at Right This Minute have the video.
What's up, The Now? I'm Beth Troutman.
And I'm Ollie Petchku with a wingsuit video that gives us a bit of a peek behind just how far people have to go. This is Chris LaBounty, and he's in the High Sierras. This is Mount Morrison. He's going to jump off the top, but first, he has to get there.
Just gotta make it. Another 30 yards, some rocks.
This is a lot of effort for a very short flight.
And he's only just getting started because you can see just how deep the snow is right here, and he's having to just force his way through it. You think he's going to be fine when he gets to the rocks, but no! Check it out, they are razor sharp and brittle as well.
I hope this is worth it. I hope the adrenaline rush is enough that it was worth the climb.
Careful climbing through here.
You know what? It's always going to be worth it, because after a couple of hours, he finally finds the right place to jump, and then, of course, he goes sailing all the way down this amazing valley.
For all the latest videos, you can catch us on Right This Minute.
Wow, that is a great view. Couldn't do the hike. Thanks for the pictures. You can catch the full episode right this minute at 7:30, right after the list here on WPTV. Rubik's Cubes, they are difficult to solve, but not for one team. In fact, this past weekend, Colin Burns broke the world record for the fastest time solving a Rubik's Cube. He did it in just 5.25 seconds. The previous record of 5.55 seconds was held by a man in the Netherlands. Burns was competing at the World Cube Association competition. It was held in Pennsylvania. Congratulations. Like I said, it would take me all day. I still couldn't figure it out. Coming up here on The Now, the digital makeover coming to Sunfest this year to help people try to locate their lost items quicker. That's fascinating. Rachel's going to fill us in. And a live look right now from our traffic cameras along I-95. We told you a short time ago that there may have been some traffic light outages at this intersection right here. This is the off-ramp to 10th Street, right? The 10th Avenue, excuse me, off of I-95. And there are some traffic light problems at this intersection, so expect big delays and thus big backups onto I-95 as well.
Bugging you, South Florida? You spoke up and we want to help. News Channel 5, covering local news everywhere. Driving a hot zone? School zone speeder crackdown. This hot topic at 6:05 tomorrow on WPTV News Channel 5.
At Bednar's, freshness sounds like this. And looks like this. I'm Steve Bednar. Visit Bednar's today. Fresh, locally grown produce from our farm to your table.
For over 30 years, you've heard our jingle. So what does that mean? The largest service center in South Florida. Whether it's in-store or in-home, our certified factory-trained technicians will fix items purchased from us or anywhere else. And of course, it means everyday low prices on a large selection of appliances, electronics, and more. And don't forget to ask about our BrandSmart 110% low price guarantee. Discover the BrandSmart way today.
Thank you for being a sailor and my daddy. Thank you, Mom, for protecting my future.
Thank you for being my hero and my dad.
Military families are thankful for many things. The legacy of USAA Auto Insurance could be one of them. Our world-class service earned USAA the top spot in a study of the most recommended large companies in America. If you're current or former military or their family, see if you're eligible to get an auto insurance quote.
The perfect car calls for the perfect price, and Lexus of Palm Beach has it. Right now, get a new 2015 Lexus RX 350 for just $389 a month, or a new 2015 Lexus GS 350 for the perfect payment, just $399 a month. Hurry to Lexus of Palm Beach. Price perfection. LexusofPalmBeach.com.
Hi, it's the Mo and Sally Morning Show from Cool 105.5. Get WPTV News Channel 5 weather updates from Steve Weagle and Storm Team 5 every hour during your workday.
News Channel 5 and Cool 105.5, keeping you safe and secure.
Can you really refinance with Valley National Bank for just $499? Absolutely. With no points, no search and title fees? Of course. And no hidden Valley fees. You can count on it. In fact, it's so easy. The only thing you'll have to worry about is what to do with the money you save.
I'm Jerry Lipkin, Chairman and CEO of Valley National Bank. You can refinance your home for just $499 and start saving today.
At Bednar's, freshness sounds like this. And looks like this. I'm Steve Bednar. Visit Bednar's today. Fresh, locally grown produce from our farm to your table.
A much quieter window of the day here, Steve Weagle.
Well, looking at the radar, there's nothing on the radar now. So we're going to end the weather alert day coming up at 5 o'clock because, the threat for storms and any kind of significant weather is quickly, Shannon, coming to an end. In fact, most of it's done at this point. And there's a look at our Live 5 camera. It is starting to really settle down. I think some areas will actually see the sunset tonight as the dry air is rolling in quickly. There's a look at the storms to the south of us and all the way off into the Bahamas. Everything moving south quickly. Our radar sweeps up through north and central Florida. Just absolutely nothing at all as far as any kind of weather working through. But there's what we saw earlier, and we had a tornado warning around Martin County. Tequesta up into Hobe Sound earlier around 1 to 1:45. We also had a severe thunderstorm warning, but you can see that is moving through quickly. Temperatures are cooling off. They'll be warm the next couple of days, but then we drop down into the low 80s, even some 70s on the way, starting Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Amazing weather shaping up, and of course this is Sunfest too, so fantastic timing, but it's going to take at least another day before this stuff gets here, but it will be well worth the wait. Shannon.
All right, we're looking forward to it, Steve. Thanks. Here's your news in 90. Staying on this weather beat here, it was a double dose of rain for a lot of residents on the Treasure Coast today. They were still recovering from last night's strong storms. Remember, Steve was telling us about this. No damage today, but a lot of homeowners were still cleaning up from yesterday, as I mentioned. This, quite the hailstorm yesterday. It stretched from Okeechobee through Palm City, Stewart, and Port Salerno. Look at these golf ball-sized hails. Really reported in a lot of locations along the Treasure Coast yesterday. One of the things that a lot of people had to deal with today was getting their cars repaired from their hailstone confrontations. That according to our reporters there on the Treasure Coast today. The Florida House, meanwhile, adjourned its annual session 3 days early because of a budget impasse with the Senate over Medicaid expansion. The House Speaker this afternoon said his members had done all they really could and felt it was best to return later with a clean slate. The House has been adamantly opposed to expanding Medicaid to almost 1 million Floridians, even though the Senate has proposed a plan that would allow the state to eventually privatize Medicaid and require recipients to work or attend school. Everything is back to normal this afternoon. This in suburban Lake Worth after a gas leak earlier. A daycare, 5 homes, 2 apartments all had to be evacuated. Residents were allowed to eventually go back several hours later. Palm Beach Fire Rescue says that a backhoe hit a 2-inch gas line right near 10th Avenue and Military Trail, causing that leak. Right now, the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission is accepting applications for alligator hunting season. They will be accepting these applications through April 30th for phase 1 of the random drawing. About 5,700 alligator harvest permits will be available through any county tax collector's office, retailers that sell hunting or fishing licenses, and through FWC's website as well. And that is your news in 90. Today, an aspiring comic who was shot and seriously injured during the Colorado movie theater shooting. He will take the stand today. Here's Molly Hendrickson from the Now National Desk with details on that.
Caleb Medley performed at a comedy club in July of 2012 and did well enough to advance to the next round. The next night, he and his pregnant wife went to a movie to celebrate before officially becoming parents. Well, that's when the shooter stormed into the Aurora Theater and opened fire. Caleb was shot in the head. He can no longer walk and has trouble speaking. His wife, Katie, was 9 months pregnant at the time. She also took the stand today. She says she thought her husband was dead and was forced to leave him in the theater to save herself and their unborn baby. 3 days after the attack, she had their baby in the same hospital doctors were treating her husband. Back to you.
Molly, thanks. Lines of chalk mark parts of Delray Beach right now, expected to flood if water levels rise 4 feet. This is called High Water Link Project. That's what the project is called. The goal is to get communities talking and thinking about ways to prepare for climate change. People living in areas prone to flooding hope that the project leads to some fixes.
The high tides are going to be higher. The water's going to go deeper into both the east side and the west side of the intercoastal, and that's just the way it's going to be.
City leaders in Delray Beach say that they are moving forward with several projects to help control rising water levels, from installing new stormwater drains to building more retention ponds, too. Sunfest preparations, they're still taking place, and organizers are pretty excited right now. You'll notice several new things this year. So we sent the Now's digital producer, Rachel Leto, to downtown West Palm Beach today to learn more about the new way Lost and Found will be working this year. Take a look.
This area where I'm standing in about 24 hours is just going to be a sea of people, and if you were to lose your keys or your cell phone, well, that wouldn't be a very good feeling. But the folks behind Sunfest are using technology to help you find your lost items a little bit quicker.
Last year, we integrated an app for Sunfest, and we saw the technology really enabling things to help us at Sunfest. So this year, we took our guest services and our lost and found systems and made that all an online system.
The online system serves as a digital record of lost items that have been found or items someone is searching for.
If you lose your cell phone, you can go to an information booth and check to see if something's been turned in. It will be pulled up on the system, or if it's not found, we can enter a lost report for that.
You can also enter the item you lost from your cell phone at sunfest.com/lost. Or if you find something, head over to any one of the 3 information booths at Sunfest, and event volunteers will take it from there.
Our volunteers are going to go ahead and enter it into the system and log a bunch of details because iPhone, is just not enough these days.
But the best way to avoid spending time dealing with lost items is not to lose your stuff in the first place.
Just, try and keep an eye and, keep a handle on your items. Bring a small bag. Anything 12 by 12 by 6 is acceptable. And just try and keep an eye on everything. But if not, we have the service to try and help people locate their items quicker.
Now, before you head down to Sunfest, be sure to download the Sunfest app in case you do lose a credit card or a driver's license. You'll be able to check that registry from right where you're standing. In downtown West Palm Beach, I'm Rachel Ato for the Now South Florida.
Thanks for getting us ready, Rachel. We're all digitally prepared now. Appreciate it. Still ahead here on the Now. Excellence in Theater. Find out who was nominated and what the biggest trend is this year.
It's the I-95 RV show in Port St. Lucie. You'll save thousands on a new or used RV. Like this new Thor Motor Coach 4-Wind Siesta, discounted to just $385 per month. The I-95 RV show is going on now at La Mesa RV in Port St. Lucie.
When you slip and hurt yourself at a business, we find that oftentimes these stores have a history of being dirty. If you slip and fall and hurt yourself, do 2 things. Take a picture of the accident scene and request in writing the videotape from the store. If they don't give you the videotape, that letter will be a great advantage to you should the case go to trial. Visit fortheinjured.com for more information. Gordon and Donner, For the Injured.
In life, we all travel different roads to get where we're going. At Vista BMW in Coconut Creek and Vista BMW in Pompano Beach, we'll get you there in style with the world-class service you've come to expect from the area's premier BMW dealer.
Lease a new 528i, just $444 a month, and pay nothing out of pocket for maintenance.
Own the road you're on. Vista BMW in Coconut Creek and Pompano Beach, where luxury meets value.
The School District of Palm Beach County. More choice programs and career academies. More graduates. More STEM. More arts. More sports. More of everything. Palm Beach County Schools, PBC Public Proud.
Run away with me.
This award season, the red carpet has shades of green. The spotlight shines all day. And the best four-wheeler of the year lets you go where others can't.
2 kids, you and me.
So you end up with the best seats in the house. The 2015 Jeep Award Season event. Well-qualified current lessees of competitive vehicles get a low-mileage lease on Cherokee Latitude front-wheel drive for $259 a month.
I think I'll go for a walk outside now. The summer sun's calling my name. Everybody's smiling. Sunshine day.
They can't all be sunshine days, but with Xfinity On Demand, you can stream your favorite movies and TV shows, or even download them to watch offline from anywhere. Seize the summer, only with Xfinity from Comcast. Get started with the X1 Triple Play now for only $89 a month for a year, or ask how to get $500 back. Call 1-800-XFINITY or visit Comcast.com today.
It's the I-95 RV show in Port St. Lucie. You'll save thousands on a new or used RV. Like this new Itasca by Winnebago Rayo, discounted to just $528 per month. The I-95 RV show is going on now at La Mesa RV in Port St. Lucie.
We're back here on the Now South Florida. We're here at the big screen. You were just down at Sunfest seconds ago. How'd you do that?
I'm very fast. I run.
The magic of TV. Anyway, she taped that segment and jumped back here. But anyway, a couple minutes ago, we were moving between locations here in the newsroom, and Rachel came up and said, "Hey, look at my new Apple Watch." She's one of the first.
I showed you
said,
a breaking news thing, and
right.
Shannon completely disregarded the breaking news and goes, "That is so cool.
Let me see your Apple Watch." No, in fairness, she did say, "Look at breaking news Well, she was showing me the Apple Watch, right? She really was. She was saying, hey, look at my app. That's what I was interpreting. Anyway, no, you're one of the first to own it. It's so neat.
So here we go.
And it kind of just buzzed you, and it had a push alert to something that was happening.
Yeah, it vibrates, and it has a cute little ding that goes off. I still am trying to figure it out. I honestly don't know how to drive this thing yet. But,
and of course, the Mickey Mouse.
By the end of the week, I chose that myself.
Right.
The Disney nerd, of course, goes with me.
This is really sleek looking, and these are the bands. We know we've done a couple stories on the bands and components. And so what are you liking about it? Tell us, do tell.
It's just, it's new. It's, you know, it's just, it's the latest and greatest, so I still have to figure it out. But so far, it's pretty cool. I like those updates that I'm getting.
And it buzzed you, and you didn't have to reach for your phone. It was just right there.
It was
on
right
your
there.
wrist. I kind of like that. And we have to say, Grandma
Grandma
Leto said everybody, all the grandkids had to have one.
Grammy Leto. She bought 5 of these.
For all the grandkids.
For all the grandkids.
And I think it's so funny. She said, get them now because I'm not going to do it later.
Yeah. Do this or else. Yes, Grandma.
I like Grammy Leto. Grammy, I'd be one of your grandkids. No problem. I'll take an Apple Watch. Thanks, Rachel, for sharing. Appreciate it. Well, the nominations for the 69th Annual Tony Awards, they were announced today. Did you hear about that? Our friends at Newsy have more if you haven't. Look.
It's a British invasion of Broadway, that is. The nominations for this year's Tony Awards were announced Tuesday morning, and plays from the UK topped the list. For Best Play, The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime and Wolf Hall Parts 1 and 2 were nominated. Both received critical acclaim in the UK before moving to New York. These nominations aren't really surprising, seeing as those rave reviews continued here in the US. Based on a 2003 mystery novel of the same name, a New York Post reviewer called Curious Incident the most inventive new show on Broadway. And the Los Angeles Times called Wolf Hall, which revolves around Thomas Cromwell, the chief minister to King Henry VIII, a thrilling high-stakes game full of politics, religion, and enough sex and violence to satisfy the most depraved tastes. The two play's leading men, Alex Sharp and Ben Miles, also scored nominations for Best Leading Actor in a Play. Another Brit leading the pack is theater veteran Bill Nighy, who stars in the revival of the 1995 play Skylight. Nighy was nominated for Best Leading Actor. The current production of Skylight, which premiered on the West End in London last year, was also nominated for Best Play Revival and Best Leading Actress in a Play for British actress Carey Mulligan. In all, Curious Incident received 6 nominations, Wolf Hall received 8, and Skylight 7. Another big trend when it came to Tuesday's nominations was the number of seasoned actors who took a break from making movies to spend some time on a Broadway stage. Besides Nighy and Mulligan, Bradley Cooper was nominated as Best Leading Actor in a Play for his role in The Elephant Man. And Helen Mirren, Elizabeth Moss, and Ruth Wilson filled the category for Best Leading Actress in a Play. Patricia Clarkson received a nod for Best Featured Actress in a Play, which is the equivalent of Best Supporting Actress at the Oscars. And on the musical side of things, Ken Watanabe, perhaps best known for his role in the movie Inception, was nominated for Best Leading Actor in a Musical for The King and I. The Tony Awards will be presented June 7th live from Radio City Music Hall in New York City. For Newsy, I'm Catherine Beek. Watch Newsy 24/7 on your TV or download the Newsy app for on-the-go updates.
Thanks, Catherine. Still ahead here on The Now. She's being called Mom of the Year. Did you see this video? A Baltimore mom being praised for smacking her son yesterday. We have the video in case you missed it. We're going to re-rack it for you. Plus, coming up here, several orphaned horses up for adoption and more are on the way. You're going to hear why they were brought here to South Florida from Kentucky. Back in a moment.
Your chance to win big, or is it?
Do you wish you knew about these odds?
Yeah, I do. Not the odds listed on the back. There's another way to increase your chances of winning.
I didn't even know that existed.
Scratch Off Secrets, Thursday on WPTV News Channel 5 at 11.
Right now, you can learn about what makes us all tick and why, how we think, why we behave the way we do, by earning a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology. Because right now, you can enroll at South University and take your first steps on the path toward a promising career. See just where a degree in psychology can take you. If you have a passion for the inner workings of the human mind, we have a place for you. So call or visit us online right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Tired of juggling food around flare-ups? Frustrated when you and your wife knows you burned the steaks again?
It's not you, it's your grill. You need grill grates on your grill.
Grill grates are simply a better cooking surface. Interlocking panels just lay on top of any grill to form a new grilling surface. Grill Grates protect food against flare-ups and keep foods juicier.
One of the secrets to Grill Grates is the bottom. It keeps flare-ups from engulfing from below while keeping the juices right up top sizzling with the food.
You'll never burn a steak again. Sear, sizzle, radiate, and protect your food. And it comes with a great tool. Half fork, half spatula, the great tool is designed to fit between the rails and reach below the food to gently lift, not scrape. No more sticking hamburgers or fish falling apart.
Turn this into this with Grill Grates. All sets include the great tool and recipe guide free.
Let me show you how Grill Grates tamed my gas grill, which had flare-up problems and hot spots.
5 seconds of a flare-up can ruin a great meal. No more incinerating flare-ups with Grill Grates. Even temperatures across the grill and the infrared heat they generate grills food better. Barbecue chicken won't be a bonfire. Vegetables won't fall through or get scorched. Steaks are perfectly seared, not charred. And you'll never grill fish in foil or a basket again. Grill Grates are interlocking raised rail panels that form a new grilling surface on any grill. Fish and vegetables are easy to handle and won't fall through or stick to the grill.
I'm Monty Brown, Trash Can Cookers, and I won the World Championship Steak Cook-Off using Grill Grates.
Beef category, we won first place with Grill Grates.
I'm Mark Lambert, World Champion 4 times, Sweet Swan of Mine, World Champion Barbecue Team, and I got Grill Grates.
I'm Meathead, and I run the most popular barbecue and grilling website on the planet. I test hundreds of devices every year. Let me tell you, this is no gimmick. They really work. They're the best cooking surface on the market, and they're the best thing for your grill since salt and pepper.
Tame the flame and take your grill to the infrared zone with Grill Grate.
You don't need a new grill, you need Grill Grates on your grill. All sets include the great tool and recipe guide free. Call or visit buygrillgrate.com.
Don't forget to measure your grill.
It has been a rough weather afternoon up until about an hour ago.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. We had a tornado warning earlier and severe thunderstorm warning. We had crazy weather yesterday, and it's cloudy outside, although I do expect some of us will see the sunset tonight as we had a lot of dry air working in later this evening. Those showers and storms that we saw earlier are now off the coastline, and this is pretty much what we're going to deal with through tonight. If you're headed south, though, into Miami and Lauderdale, look at this, big rains. More so, actually, Lauderdale heading in toward Miami, and that line all the way cutting across. Well, it's well south of 75 now, so making the cross across the state doesn't look too bad. The current temperatures are a mix of mid and high 70s. We really cooled off this afternoon as those storms rolled through, and they're actually the last of them. They're over the Gulf Stream and headed toward the Bahamas. So a quick little shower. There's one there way west of Del Rey. Temperatures are nice in the mid 70s, and even the heavy rain that we saw an hour ago is completely done across South County. The Treasure Coast also seeing a big improvement, and dry air is coming quickly into the Treasure Coast, so sunset possible for quite a few spots. There's a look as we get up into Boynton. Very, very nice in Treasure Coast. A few showers way offshore. So cooler weather on the way, and we're going to be talking more about that at 5 o'clock. Shannon.
All right, Steve, we'll see you then. Thanks. Turtle nesting season. It's starting pretty early in Southwest Florida this year. Officials say a nest was in fact spotted in Fort Myers last week, and 2 more were found in Marco Island and Sanibel Island just this past weekend. Nesting season typically begins right around May 1st, but this year wildlife officials are anticipating an early nesting season because of the warmer weather we've been experiencing, enjoying, right? Volunteers are monitoring the nests as they pop up all along the beaches. Right now, a look at what is making national and international news for us. Our Ashley Hinson standing by in the feed room with what's coming in on the satellites right now. Ashley?
Well, Shannon, National Guard troops are in Baltimore right now. The city, of course, under a state of emergency in the wake of a night of violence. You can see the dramatic video here as protesters clashed with police in riot gear, looted stores, torched buildings and cars. Today, public schools were closed, and in just a few hours, a citywide curfew will be imposed. The death toll in Nepal still rising today. At least 4,500 people were killed in this weekend's 7.8 magnitude earthquake. More than 8 million people have been affected, many of those left homeless. Meanwhile, time is running out for crews struggling to reach many of those victims still trapped in the rubble, as the damage has made it pretty difficult to get to more remote areas that were hit hardest by that quake. Devastating testimony in Colorado today as prosecutors called their first witnesses in the Aurora Theater shooting trial, Caleb Medley. He was left paralyzed and brain damaged in that shooting. 12 people were killed, dozens more hurt when James Holmes opened fire back in July of 2012. The defense argues he was insane and should not be put to death. Same-sex marriage getting its day in the Supreme Court today. The justices will ultimately decide if same-sex marriage should be a constitutional right. That decision is expected in June. Tyson Foods has started to phase out its use of human antibiotics in chicken. The problem, the use of the antibiotics in the chicken is making those antibiotics less effective for people. Tyson expects the elimination process will take 2 years. And that is your News in 90. Shannon, back to you.
Ashley, thanks so much. It has been a long-standing rule that if your child has lice, they have to stay home from school. But now the American Academy of Pediatrics says that that policy is really unfair and unnecessary. Their new guidelines say that children who have had lice can finish the school day, be treated at night, and then return to class the next day. Doctors say the first choice for treatment should be over-the-counter medicines, along with combing out nits. But if they don't work, there are other options, they say, available by prescription. An experimental shingles vaccine appears to work well in older adults. Currently, there's only one shingles vaccine available. Zostavax is generally less effective in people over the age of 70 who are often at risk for shingles. Well, now researchers with GlaxoSmithKline, they're reporting an experimental shingles vaccine is 98% effective in that age group. The shingles is caused by the same virus that causes chickenpox. Here in the newsroom once again, this time with Kelly Dunn. Getting ready for the 5 o'clock news. Wow, what a busy day we had yesterday. And
I know
things have calmed down in Baltimore today. So your coverage shifting back to hyper-local.
Exactly, and all that bad weather yesterday. I know up in Palm City, for all of you who live in Martin County like I do, the hail was unbelievable. And driving home at 12:30 in the morning, when I arrive home in the morning and through our development, I had this eerie feeling, and you'll know it because we lived through all these hurricanes together. It's not that it had that hurricane look, except just a little bit. There weren't there weren't too many branches, but there was so much debris covering the road. It was crazy, and all my plants were shredded and all that. Well, not that that's such a big problem.
Of course, but there was real
dents on
damage.
cars. Exactly, dents on cars, screen enclosures, all the other damage that might be done. I found a little roof tile from our roof on the in the backyard today when I was taking the dogs out. So Jen Strathman on the case, figure out what's covered, what's not, and it's a good warm up for hurricane season.
It really is.
Coming up in June 1st.
And so telling too. You know, Palm Beach County really didn't receive too much of that.
Oh man, Martin
damaging
County
weather.
Was slammed.
Goodness gracious. Wow. Kelly Dunn, thank you for that perspective. We'll see you at 5.
You got it.
All right, I'm shifting gears here. We want to go back to the streets of Baltimore. Wow, what a difference 24 hours makes, right? Much different picture as the one we were feeding you live here yesterday, just 24 hours ago. Today, the National Guard troops have been called in, and you've seen pockets of peaceful protesters back on the streets there, but peaceful being the operative word this time, of course. And a couple of updates to bring you up to speed on if you're just joining us and you haven't been tapped into the Baltimore story today. Cars and businesses, of course, set on fire yesterday. Some 20 police officers were injured in the last 24 hours. And again, you're watching right now. These are live pictures coming into us. These are peaceful protesters who've come out. They are demonstrating, and they have come face to face with police today. There have been a couple of skirmishes, but by and large, the day has been mostly peaceful. The city did close its schools today. There is a 10 p.m. curfew that'll go into effect tonight, and that will run through the rest of the week. So 10 p.m. until 5 a.m., nobody is allowed on the streets of Baltimore. Also, the Baltimore Orioles were set to play the Chicago White Sox again today. That game was postponed yesterday. It was supposed to be played today. They have delayed it once again. That will now be played at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. And no fans. For the first time in baseball history, no fans will be welcome at that game. It'll be carried live on TV, but no fans at the Baltimore Orioles game set for 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. There is one scene from yesterday that has a lot of people talking online today. The Now's Roxanne Stein joins us with more on that.
Shannon, I heard it as a kid, and I bet today you tell your kids the same thing. You will know what they're up to, even if you aren't with them. Well, this mother in Baltimore had that instinct, and she tracked down her son, who had joined protesters. She was watching live TV coverage of the rioting on TV. She saw her son throwing rocks at police, and that's when this comeuppance took place. Listen in. Did you see that? Well, the son takes a shot at the mom, and then all bets are off. She takes off after him, and you just know now who is going to win. She gives him a whooping, but there's more. Oh.
Get the over here! Get over here now! Did you hear what I said?
She grabs him, goes after him, grabs him, takes him down, and boy, he is not gonna win. He knows now mom is mom. Been a lot of chat about this on social media. Most people are speaking out, giving the mom huge props for not backing down with her son. And you know, Shannon, he's not a little kid here. This is a grown-up. She's got that cell phone in hand. She just jumps right on him and says this is not going to happen. And it seems like most people on social media agree with her taking a stand and always being a mom. Shannon?
Wow. You know, and so many of the city leaders yesterday were pleading with the community, find your kids, get them home. That was a call that you heard from public officials all day yesterday. We needed more moms like her. The Medalman community started the cleanup process this morning after an evening of the fire and destruction that we were carrying all day and into the evening. All of us. The Now's digital producer Rachel Leto has been following this story for us on Twitter really today.
I wanted to share these images because they're just such a dramatic shift from what we saw yesterday. So here you see people armed with brooms, trash bags, different items that they can use to go ahead and clean those streets. And that's what the climate was like this morning in that same neighborhood that we were following about this time yesterday. Now, there were still some protesters gathering, but still chill, though. You know, that's calm. And we'll just take a look at one more photo. Like I said, still protesters out there, but we are not seeing those same images like we were seeing last night. So, Shannon, hopefully we'll see a little bit more calm tonight, and I'll send it back to you as I keep watching Twitter.
It's looking like it. Rachel, thanks. Right now, several orphaned horses are up for adoption at a Loxahatchee Groves farm. They came from Kentucky, where their new owner says that they would have been left to die. The Now's Katie Johnson joining us now with details on why they're even more on the way, apparently. Katie?
Shannon, they're called nurse mare foals. The horses' mothers are used to nurse future race horses, while these foals are either killed or left to die. There are 5 new mouths to feed at Pure Thoughts Horse Rescue in Loxahatchee Groves. 5 babies, foals, born just weeks ago.
They're always looking for mamas. So when they're in the stall, they want to sleep with somebody.
That's because their mamas are still in Kentucky, taking care of other babies.
We know we can't help everybody, but the ones we help, that makes us feel good and makes that individual horse feel good.
Brad Gaver is the co-founder of Pure Thoughts Horse Rescue. For the past few years, he's been buying nurse mare foals from farmers in Kentucky.
They just leave them to die or kill them themselves.
He says it's a constant cycle. The mothers of these foals are always breeding, so they're ready to feed and nurture thoroughbreds who could become racehorses. Brad says the thoroughbreds' mothers don't care for their own young, so they can breed new ones.
They're either getting bred back so they could have another baby right away, so they could have another baby that's unwanted next year by the next mare, or they're going back to compete.
According to officials with the National Thoroughbred Racing Association in Kentucky, the nurse mare industry is not regulated. Brad says this year alone he'll be taking in dozens of horses from the state and believes there should be legislation to put an end to the practice. Now, these horses are ready to be adopted. Brad says the sooner the better so they can get comfortable with their new families. To find out how you can adopt, visit our website, WPTV.com. Shannon?
Katie, thanks. That'll do it for the Now South Florida News Channel 5 at 5 begins right now. Breaking weather at 5, another wild day of storms across South Florida.
Storm Team 5 watching the radar closely during a tornado warning earlier this afternoon. Most of you have seen heavy downpours.
What can we expect for the rest of tonight? For that, we begin with Storm Team 5 Chief Meteorologist Steve Weigel. Steve?
Definitely a day of severe weather, and everything has tapered off, so the weather alert day is going to end right now, and we may need another one for tomorrow. James Whelan is going to talk more about that in a second. Here's a nice-looking sky after a day of just torrential downpours, tornado warning, severe thunderstorm warning, and look at our radar sites now up and down the coastline. The Power 5 radar network not picking up anything here, but our Miami radar to the south is picking up big storms. So if you're headed south toward Lauderdale and Miami tonight, you're going to run into some of that. Current temperatures are a mix of low and mid 70s. There's the earlier rain pushing off the coastline. Treasure Coast, a few light showers. That's about it. As you head out the door tonight, looking good. Temperatures in the mid 70s. That's where we are now. Some of us will actually see the sunset tonight. Dry air moving in quickly. Very pleasant overnight. But another round of storms possible tomorrow. James Whelan has been with me here in the Weather Center during the afternoon. He has the latest on that and what we can expect the next few days. James.
Yeah, Steve, thanks a lot. And it's not over yet. It's over for now, because tomorrow we still expect some strong showers and thunderstorms to fire on up. We have one little disturbance moving through us now, another one back into the Gulf of Mexico. Low pressure is forming. That's going to move across the state tomorrow. Then we're going to have a cold front move through by tomorrow night, Thursday morning, and when that happens, then we will finally rid ourselves with the severe weather threat. But that's not going to happen until Thursday. So tomorrow we're still going to have the potential for some strong showers and thunderstorms. Steve?
And we have an amazing weekend headed our way. Cooler weather, some of the nicest weather that we've seen in a long, long time. I'll let you know if you agree. We're going to have your complete forecast into the weekend coming up.
Steve, thanks. Despite the earlier tornado warning, no reports of any damage on the Treasure Coast and no widespread flooding problems for this evening's rush hour. News Channel 5's John Shainman is live in Palm City, where there were plenty of issues last night, though. John?
Guys, no problems right now. If you look behind me, oh my goodness, that's blue sky in the distance. And no real problems with the traffic over the Palm City Bridge right now. About 24 hours ago, a far different story, golf ball-sized hail, and today, nothing like that. But we will show you some video from a few hours ago where, yes, there was heavy rain this afternoon. I drove up and down US 1 between Stewart and Hobe Sound, and back out to I-95, north back up here to Palm City, and at times it was very hard to see the traffic ahead of you. The worst of the weather today coming during the early afternoon hours. Again, there was that tornado warning in the Hobe Sound area. Last night, the worst weather hit at the tail end of the evening rush hour. We're still getting today some great videos, still photos from our U reporters of last night's storm, which saw some trees down in parts of Stewart and Palm City. And we didn't get any reports of anybody hurt due to the wicked weather. That, of course, the good news. But as opposed to people, well, some homes and especially some cars needing some TLC today. We'll have that part of our storm story coming up all new on News Channel 5 at 6 o'clock. We're live in Palm City. John Shainman, WPTV, News Channel 5.
Setups underway for this year's Sunfest, even with today's storms. News Channel 5's Jacqueline Powell is live now to show us how the setup has your safety in mind. Jacqueline?
There's a lot more under these stages here at Sunfest than in past years. A lot of added weight, thousands and thousands of pounds more, and some extra support beams. And that's all because of this stage collapse in Indiana at the State Fair in 2011 that killed 7 people. After that, industry standards are more strict now. Production companies are required to put even more into building stages than in years past.
Overall, it's a sturdier structure than it was even 10 years ago. Not that it wasn't safe then, but with the weather conditions the way they are these days, it seems that, the added safety is a better thing.
State and local building inspectors also have to come out and approve everything before anyone can start performing. And of course, if it's even considered stable, if winds get moving too fast, the crowds and bands will still be evacuated. Now let's send it over to Storm Team 5's Tyler Molden to find out if you're headed out here this weekend, what kind of weather you can be expecting.
All right, thank you very much, Jacqueline. There is no better way to get severe weather alerts for your exact location and keep your family safe. You can think of Storm Shield as a weather radio that is with you wherever you go on your Android or iPhone. Go to WPTV.com for the link.
It's a handful of people taking advantage of a situation for their own purposes, and they need to be treated as criminals.
President Obama commenting today about the rioting in Baltimore. Now the city bracing for what may come this night after the chaos and destruction witnessed by the nation. Angry protesters protesting over the death of Freddie Gray, though critics say that the real protesters were the ones who were saying and condemning this kind of violence. Gray died after he suffered a critical spinal injury while in police custody earlier this month.
The mayor of Baltimore has declared a state of emergency, did so last night. Right now, the National Guard is deployed. We have some live pictures right now to the right-hand side of your screen. This after 20 police officers, that state of emergency, after 20 police officers were injured in yesterday's violence. NBC's Jay Gray with the very latest now from Baltimore.
Hey there, good evening, Michael. Good evening, Kelly. Several areas across the city, including City Hall, where we are right now, locked down. Police, National Guard troops in position, with concern growing as we move closer to nightfall here.
And what I see here now are people in the process of cleaning up.
Clearing away the remnants of the frustration and rage that exploded overnight in the streets of Baltimore.
hundreds, many of them high school students, pouring into the streets yesterday afternoon, looting businesses, burning buildings and cars through the night, throwing bricks, rocks, and bottles at police, injuring more than a dozen officers just hours after a funeral for Freddie Gray, the 25-year-old who died after he was severely injured while being held by police.
The Freddie Gray situation was just the straw that broke the camel's back for real. So therefore, everybody's angry. This is what's going to happen.
Today, state and local officials are determined to make sure it doesn't happen again.
It's been now less than 24 hours. You see we have a couple of thousand more people on the streets in Baltimore.
Police, along with National Guard troops, most in full riot gear, a show of force designed to deliver a message.
We're going to bring whatever resources are necessary, whatever assets are necessary, as much manpower as necessary to let the citizens of Baltimore know that their neighborhoods are going to be safe.
Still, there is an uneasy tension right now as this community and officers gather again, waiting to see what happens next. Now, a curfew's in place starting tonight. Unless there's a medical emergency or someone's going to work, no one will be allowed on the streets between 10 and 5 tomorrow morning. In Baltimore, Jay Gray, WPTV News Channel 5.
New at 5, no one has seen anything quite like it ever. The Florida House abruptly adjourned today, 3 days early, because leaders there could not agree with the Florida Senate, their counterparts, about Medicaid expansion. Republicans run both chambers in Florida, but House Republicans oppose expanding Medicaid to more than 800,000 Floridians. And they don't trust Obamacare, and they don't trust a Senate plan that would allow the state to eventually perhaps privatize Medicaid. House Democrat and Minority Leader Mark Pafford from West Palm Beach is shaking his head.
Republicans who are in charge of all of Tallahassee decided they couldn't get along, and rather than work with one another, not only one another, but Democrats, they decided in the House they weren't getting their way over health care expansion and quit working.
Nasty, nasty fight. We have been reaching out to Republicans as well. Thus far, have not heard from any of our local Republican representatives. The Obama administration has signaled it's unlikely to extend hospital funds if the state does not expand Medicaid, so the fight goes on. A special session, meanwhile, will be needed to pass the Florida budget before June 30th. That's the only job lawmakers are required by law to finish.
The debate is back. Should downtown Delray Beach have parking meters? In just a few minutes, city leaders will discuss that issue. News Channel 5's Charlie Keegan is in Delray with more on today's proposal. Charlie?
Kelly, you said it. We are here on Atlantic Avenue where parking is a premium. You can see the spots pretty well filled up right here behind me. And once again, parking meters, the discussion about parking meters is back on the table. This time we are learning the proposal calls for a $2 per hour rate in the downtown core. That core is described as 2 blocks north and 2 blocks south of Atlantic Avenue in the downtown area. Now, but get this, the part of the proposal also says that the first hour of parking would be free during the day from Monday through Friday. Supporters say this will turn over parking spots and get more people in downtown. But retailers argue that it'll actually scare away customers and hurt their businesses. Now, the city voted against parking meters in January of 2014. The Parking Management Advisory Board is meeting tonight at 5:30. It is a public meeting at City Hall. After tonight's meeting, it'll bring a plan to the City Commission next month, and it'll ultimately be the city commissioners who have the final say on whether or not to install parking meters in downtown. In Delray Beach, Charlie Keegan, WPTV News Channel 5.
The Vaccine and Gene Therapy Institute of Florida wants a $14 million bailout from Port St. Lucie, or it will either leave the city or shut down. Without the money, it could relocate to Palm Beach County, where it claims it will operate rent-free for 3 years. VGTI is currently examining new potential partnerships that could keep the institute in the city. We'll keep you posted.
Tonight, 10th Avenue North at Military Trail has reopened after a gas leak in suburban Lake Worth. Crews responded to the leak near Grace Avenue after a backhoe hit a 2-inch gas line. A daycare, 5 homes, and 2 apartments had to be evacuated, but residents and children were allowed to return a few hours later.
Demonstrators gathering outside the United States Supreme Court today as justices began hearing arguments on whether the states must allow same-sex marriage and recognize marriages performed legally outside those states. The last time the court weighed in on same-sex marriage was 2 years ago. At the time, the nation's high court struck down part of a federal law that denied benefits to gay couples. The Supreme Court, as gay marriage continues to expand state by state around the country, is expected to deliver an overarching ruling early this summer.
Close to 3 years after a deadly attack at an Aurora, Colorado movie theater, James Holmes is going on trial. Holmes is charged with killing 12 people and injuring dozens others. Holmes has pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity. The jury will be presented with mounds of evidence, including a notebook Holmes sent to his psychiatrist before the attack and the results of 2 state mental evaluations.
The credibility of the experts is going to be critical because this is a case that's going to be full of expert testimony.
If found to be legally insane, Holmes would be committed to a psychiatric hospital. He could also face the death penalty.
Right now, first aid is beginning to reach rural villages in Nepal, where the death toll from Saturday's earthquake is now more than 4,600. Troops with supplies, food, water, and emergency medical items are being helicoptered into towns near the epicenter of the earthquake.
Most of the affected areas in Gorkha district are also the most inaccessible areas. So what you're seeing behind me is a helipad where light and heavy lift helicopters are taking the first initial relief out to the most affected areas.
Many of the region's 1 million residents have been sleeping outside in a makeshift tent camp since the quake. Overwhelmed authorities are dealing with big shortages of drinking water, food, electricity is almost non-existent, and of course the threat of spreading disease. The United States has already sent search and rescue workers to Nepal, as well as $1 million in relief aid.
Some frightening video of the avalanche caused by that earthquake. It was captured by climbers at base camp on Mount Everest. The video begins with a person saying, "I can feel the ground shaking." The camera pans up to reveal the avalanche of snow and rocks coming down the mountain. Climbers get very low to the ground as that avalanche falls right on top of them, but the photographer never stops rolling. After it's over, climbers get up and attempt to see if everyone's okay, but they weren't. In fact, 17 people died on Mount Everest in that avalanche. Some climbers are still missing.
The government, coming up, wants to change what's in your drinking water. Why the government says it could be bad for your teeth.
And the president saying should take more control of our military drones.
At 5:30, a new recall of tainted dog treats. What you can do to keep your pets safe.
The heavy rain that worked through earlier is now down around Miami and Lauderdale. We have more on the way, though, before our next big cold front. I'll have your forecast into the weekend coming up.
You're up this early because you want to squeeze a little more out of your day.
I'm busy during the day. I want to know what the traffic conditions are.
WPTV Time Saver Traffic with the only local chopper covering your neighborhood.
They're going to alert me of any traffic conditions so that I can replan my route to work.
A first-hand look at traffic jams so you don't have to guess.
You get an aerial view of the entire area.
Chopper 5, Time Saver Traffic, the only morning traffic team. Today on 5 on WPTV News Channel 5.
You know, getting your air conditioner tuned up is just as important as getting your car tuned up.
Yeah, but how do you stay so clean?
Save up to $1,650 or pay no interest until 2020 on a new Trane air conditioning system.
I love those guys.
Edmor's is gonna save you. Announcing Edmor's Delray Toyota's ultimate buyback event. Your trade is in high demand, so we're paying top dollar. Lease a new 2015 Camry LE for only $89 a month, or buy a Camry for $13,988. Visit DelrayToyota.com. Room after room after beautiful room. Find great sale prices store-wide during our amazing Rooms to Go spring sale. Get irresistible savings on special clearance items. Reduced prices on Cindy Crawford Home, the Sofia Vergara collection, Ultimate TV packages. These are once-a-season price reductions. And to make buying even easier, get interest-free financing until January 2018. So come on. We need to make room and you like saving money. So rush to the Rooms to Go spring sale today. Tonight on The Voice, don't let your favorite go home.
That's the best performance yet.
Tune in and vote live with the Instant Save.
You all know how amazing that was.
The Voice, new tonight at 8/7 Central, here on NBC.
Tonight,
My God.
A manhunt unites 3 shows
He's been at this for 10 years.
for an all-new crossover.
Don't you just hate it when you kidnap a girl and she won't stop kicking the back of your seat?
An all-new crossover starts tonight here on NBC.
Announcing Edmore's Delray Toyota's ultimate buyback event at Edmore's Delray Toyota. Your trade is in high demand, so we're paying top dollar. Lease a new 2015 Corolla L for $69 a month, or buy a Corolla for $12,988. Visit DelrayToyota.com.
The air conditioner is all tuned up and ready to go.
So's the car, minus a few parts. Call Lindstrom today and get a 19-point air conditioning tune-up for only $89.
Those guys.
Weather on WPTV is sponsored by Lindstrom Air Conditioning and Plumbing.
To a health alert now. For the first time in 50 years, the government wants to make changes to your drinking water. It is recommending a decrease in the amount of fluoride in drinking water across the country. This comes as some health experts say we have an excess of fluoride through toothpaste and mouthwashes. And because of this, they say more people have been suffering from fluorosis, which is white stains on the enamel of the teeth. However, every municipality still has the final say over water in its city.
An experimental shingles vaccine appears to work well in older adults. Currently, there's only one shingles vaccine available. It's generally less effective in people over the age of 70 who often are at risk for shingles. Now, researchers say an experimental shingles vaccine is 98% effective in that age group, and it worked nearly as well in people in their 50s. Shingles is caused by the same virus that causes chickenpox.
Women may have a harder time recovering from a concussion than men. 30 concussion patients had MRIs within 1 month and then 6 weeks after a head injury. Both men and women showed changes in brain circuits linked to their working memory. But men returned to a normal pattern by 6 weeks. Women continued to have decreased activity. Experts say women may require more aggressive concussion management than men.
The White House is making a new push to give the Pentagon control of armed drones, taking that control away from the CIA. This comes a week after the administration admitted 2 hostages, 1 American and 1 Italian, were inadvertently killed in a CIA drone strike in January. Under President Obama's plan, the CIA would continue to have a role in the program, providing intelligence and expertise. The White House says Pentagon drone control would lead to more transparency.
One of the biggest shutdowns in the history of higher education in the U.S., Corinthian Colleges says it's closing its remaining 28 for-profit schools immediately, kicking out about 16,000 students out of the school. The school says it will work with government agencies and other institutions to place these students in other schools. Earlier this month, the Department of Education said it would fine the school millions after it was found that it misrepresented hundreds of job placement rates.
Fed up with his students, a Texas college professor failed the entire class. Erwin Horowitz sent an email to his students explaining they'd all be failing the course. Horowitz said the students proved to be incompetent and lacked the maturity level to enter the workforce. He also said the students spread rumors about him online and felt like he needed to have police protection in class, his words. The university says the professor's grades won't stick, and the only reason a student would fail is if they did not meet expectations for the class.
A consumer alert now. Facebook is offering free video calling. The service is available on Apple and Android systems. The social network giant says the service works cross-platforms, allowing users of 2 different operating systems to connect via video. Facebook says the video calling feature can even be used on low bandwidth mobile networks.
All right, the weather alert day has now come to an end. We are looking at a quiet weather pattern through the evening. If you have outdoor plans tonight, it looks fantastic. Temperatures already in the mid-70s, will cool off another few degrees, but it's going to be a very pleasant night. Keep in mind, though, a lot of clouds around now, but we are starting to see a little bit of blue sky on the Treasure Coast, and some of that will work into Palm Beach County this evening. So some of us will actually be able to see the sunset tonight. Our radar sites here, quiet, getting a bit of a break after the earlier storms. We had a tornado warning around Martin County. We also had a severe thunderstorm warning. Now the active weather is down around Miami and moving through Lauderdale. This cell right here showing some rotation. It's one that's moving into Lauderdale. Here, obviously quiet. Chance for a few showers. You can see a couple of sprinkles popping up around Boca now, right along the county line. And temperatures are in the mid-70s. Looking nice there. The little showers, West Boca, 441, that area. A few more just to the south of that and to the west, I should say. And then there's a look at the Treasure Coast where the drier air is starting to filter in. So here's your hour-by-hour forecast into tonight. Partly cloudy. Obviously, down around South County, we have still the chance for a little rain. Late overnight, cooling off into the mid-70s. Sunshine returning tomorrow morning, but the showers and the storms fire up quickly. First Treasure Coast and then into Palm Beach County, rumbles of thunder. It should be a pretty active day. We have lots of heat, lots of humidity, and we have a front that is approaching that swings through on Thursday, and that's really the big trigger for some decent storms again tomorrow. 86 tomorrow. Look at these temperatures Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. High 70s and low 80s. It should be fantastic and dry too. Temperatures are nice. Our wave heights are 1 to 2. Tomorrow they do climb a bit, 2 to 4. This is a southwest wind though, so the nearshore waters should be very, very nice. Gets a little breezy during the afternoon, light chop for the inland waters. But if you head out the inlets and you're only off a mile or two, it should be very nice. They climb though as you get into the Gulf Stream with a pretty brisk southwest wind. So clearing sky tonight, isolated showers are possible. 73 the overnight low. Tomorrow 86 degrees, showers and storms possible, and we'll see a clearing sky later in the day. 7-day forecast, chance for an early, I should say, midday to mid-afternoon shower on Thursday, and then we'll start to see the front finally get through the area. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday look spectacular. All of the computer models indicating drier, cooler, and less humidity for the weekend. It'll be a welcome change, especially after the last few weeks.
Certainly will, Steve. Thank you. A programming note now. Days of Our Lives was preempted this afternoon because of breaking weather coverage. NBC will re-air the program at 2:07 in the morning, tomorrow morning, 2:07. So if you have a DVR, set your DVR and you can record Days of Our Lives. Coming up, a close call on camera. What a driver did not do after nearly hitting several children.
And before today's rain moved through, you may have noticed chalk markings around parts of Delray Beach. What it's raising awareness about at 5:30.
Closed captioning on WPTV is sponsored by Bethesda Health.
How much are you spending on a complete pair of no-line bifocals? $250, $400, maybe even $550? Well, how about $99? 2-pair no-line bifocals for $99 plus free eye exam. Stanton Optical. Call 1-800-STANTON for nearest location.
Lease a 2015 Outback for $219 a month at Schumacher Subaru.
Schumacher Subaru. Come join the family.
This ain't rocket science. It's pizza. I love making pizza.
Get a large 2-topping pizza for just $10 and try garlic knots for a limited time online-only price of $4.
Better ingredients, better pizza. PapaJohns.com.
For over 30 years, you've heard our jingle. So what does that mean? Amazing everyday low prices on a large selection of electronics and more. An expert and knowledgeable sales team that's ready to help. In-home service by our master tech team. From installation to demonstration of the newest home electronics. And don't forget to ask about our BrandSmart 110% low price guarantee. Discover the BrandSmart way today.
If you've been injured on the job, the interruption in regular paychecks can be devastating to your family. Don't rely on the insurance company or your employer to be looking out for your best interest. At Gordon & Donner, we built fortheinjured.com so you can spend all the time you need having your questions answered, or have a live chat 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call 333-3333 or visit fortheinjured.com. Gordon & Donner, for the injured.
Gunther Volkswagen's grand opening celebration continues. And for the past 45 years, no one sells more Volkswagen vehicles than Gunther. Right now, you can choose from over 1,200 new Volkswagen vehicles and save thousands at an all-new Gunther Volkswagen location close to you. Like this special lease offer on a new 2015 Passat from $139 a month. Get to South Florida's most convenient Volkswagen dealer today to save big.
For 45 years, satisfying customers, one handshake at a time.
That's why you got to get to Gunther.
How much are you spending on a complete pair of no-line bifocals? $250, $400, maybe even $550? Well, how about $99? 2 pair no-line bifocals for $99 plus free eye exam. Stanton Optical. Call 1-800-STANTON for nearest location.
Get your News Channel 5 updates throughout the day on News Radio WJNO.
Covering America now, the convicted Boston Marathon bomber, Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, is being called, quote, a good kid, as his attorney fights for his life. Tsarnaev's attorney made that statement during opening statements of the the penalty phase of the case. The death penalty is an option here. He went on to say the 21-year-old should go to life in prison, and that would end this case for good and keep him from becoming a martyr. All 12 jurors must agree in order for Tsarnaev to receive the death penalty. The defense is expected to call witnesses and present evidence for the next 2 to 3 weeks.
A nurse on a medical helicopter fell to her death last night. Officials say Kristen McLean was part of a team conducting a rescue in the Austin area. As the victim was being lifted to safety, McLean fell from the helicopter's hoist. She had been with the Starflight Rescue Company for 7 years. The crash remains under investigation.
Finally, a reminder about the absolute need to be careful near bus stops. You see that. The children get ready to get on a bus, and look what happens. An SUV races by the bus stop, children going to get on board. Thank goodness they all stop. It's just one more reminder as they jump back. Thank goodness they're A-OK. About the, as I said at the outset, the absolute need to be patient. You might get somewhere a minute late and save a life in the process. Police looking for the driver, again this out west, who just blew right by, didn't even bother to check on the students.
I'm Jay Cashmere, live in the newsroom. Coming up all new at 5:30. It is the calm after the storm now, and the cleanup is well underway in parts of our viewing area rocked by rough weather. A look at where we're finding the most visible damage. On the heels of the latest dog treat recall, we'll outline what to look out for and what to avoid when pet shopping. And how would you like to look out your window and see this on your patio? Why the woman who took this video says it's no surprise to her. Those stories and more with Shannon and I. See you just a few minutes for News Channel 5 at 5:30.
Business Report on WPTV is sponsored by your local Toyota dealers.
Today's fresh idea, add a touch of green to your home or garden. Find the perfect recipe for all of your home and garden needs at floridagardening.org. Look for the Fresh from Florida label when you shop and support local growers and nurseries.
You know, getting your air conditioner tuned up is just as important as getting your car tuned up.
Yeah, but how do you stay so clean?
Save up to $1,650 or pay no interest until 2020 on a new Trane air conditioning system.
I love those guys.
What does high-strength, roll-formed steel look like? Like this. Chevy Silverado. High-strength steel for high-strength dependability. Current Chevy owners can get this Silverado 1500 for a total value of $9,000, plus 1 year of Sirius XM with every MLB game. See your South Florida Chevy dealer.
I felt a lot of comfort knowing that I could focus on healing myself and getting back to work and back to my life while someone else was advocating for me. When my colleague said that his mother had actually used Craig Goldenfarb's office, I thought, well, I'll give it a try, and I'm very happy that I did. They worked so hard on my behalf.
Nothing makes me more proud than to be recommended by a grateful client. Call a lawyer you can trust. Call me, Attorney Craig Goldenfarb.
Get the luxury you want, the value you need, and the performance you crave at Vista BMW in Coconut Creek and Vista BMW in Pompano Beach. You get it all.
Drive the legendary 3 Series for only $296 a month and pay nothing out of pocket for maintenance.
Shop the area's #1 selection of new BMWs. What are you waiting for? Vista BMW in Coconut Creek and Pompano Beach, where luxury meets value.
The air conditioner is all tuned up and ready to go.
So is the car, minus a few parts. Call Lindstrom today and get a 19-point air conditioning tune-up for only $89.
I love those guys.
It's always a good morning when fresh Florida blueberry pancakes are on the menu. Make Florida blueberry pancakes your morning tradition. Visit freshfromflorida.com for more mouthwatering recipes. Remember, delicious is always served fresh from Florida.
Live, local, from WPTV, this is News Channel 5 at 5:30. Local coverage you can count on.
Call it the calm after the storm. A rough series of storms rolling through our viewing area all afternoon.
We have time-lapse video of it rolling in, moving in. This is from the Blue Heron Bridge. That's what you're looking at right now. If you experienced it out there, you know what a problem it was. News Channel 5's Chief Meteorologist Steve Weigel says there's more in the forecast. Is that right, Steve?
Yeah, we're not quite done with it yet. Not tonight, but tomorrow. As the front moves closer and sweeps through on Thursday, we do get more strong storms, potentially severe weather for the middle of the week. Tonight on the radar, it is quiet. This was bright reds and yellows even a couple of hours ago. It really settled down quickly, though, and moved off the coast and also moved to the south, where we have big storms moving through Miami now, all the way down into southwest Florida. Current temperatures are pretty much in the mid-70s. We hit 84 officially this afternoon. We're going to climb up into the high 80s again tomorrow. A couple of light showers moving through Boca right now, and that's about it. So into the evening, very nice, partly cloudy, actually a clearing sky. Temperatures will be in the mid to high 70s tomorrow morning, a little sunshine, but it doesn't last long. More strong storms are possible on Wednesday, especially late morning through about mid-afternoon, and we do get cooler weather coming in. A nice change as we get into the weekend. We're going to talk about that coming up.
Well, now it's time for the cleanup. While most of us experience strong thunderstorms, others are picking up after gusty winds toppled trees.
And some folks in Stewart, in fact, are still assessing the damage. We're talking about yesterday's wind and hail storms. News Channel 5's Jamel Lene is live in Stewart right now, a neighborhood where folks have been pretty busy most of this day. Jamel?
Jay, Shannon, this was the problem much earlier. Take a look at this stump, this very old, huge, and massive stump from this oak tree. Crews finally were able to saw this tree down. As you can see, it's piled up against the side of the road here on Apache Avenue and 15th Street. Now, this